as it were. Matteo Cairoli starts alongside the Ferrari of Alessio Rovera. Third on the grid is going to be Joel Sturm, and Franck Pereira is going to be fourth on the grid. Charlie Fagg starts fifth, and then lining up sixth is Matthew Drudi.
Of the circuit, and there's an example of what happens coming out of the pit lane, arguably.
Yeah, John Shen, we've just seen in the pits, and he's come out the other side and had a moment by the look of it.
And he would have been on a wet set of dry weather slicks,
yeah,
I would imagine.
Alain Adon is happy to let them go, or maybe not, because that is exactly what he did not need, and that's a car that I fear is going to be out of the race already. Carl Washington has taken the front right corner off that. The safety car's going to have to stay out because we...
And wait. And yeah, but he used the curb at the top of radio, and there you can see the right front into the... Is that...
So the green flag will be shown from the marshal's post on this timing line, the control line, as we go racing then in the 24 hours of Spa. There's the green flag, and Matteo Cairoli blasts away, looking for the dry patches on the road.
Advantage over the second place. Ferrari at the end of one lap ago, that has extended. It'll be over a second by the time they come. Watch the overtake. Good job up the inside. Has it made it stick? Porsche forced wide on the exit. That's the Hex's Porsche.
So that's Kelvin van der Linde in the Audi coming through. His Audi, as they climb the rise, you can see one or two of them now getting a bit braver and using more of the curb.
Yes. And look at the Audi behind. You could see the pace it carried through radio, and using that pace to try and get the slipstream up the Kemmel straight. Defense on the one hand, staying in the middle of the road, and the Porsche's been overtaken. And again, a good execution. That's how you make an overtake on using Kemmel straight. Through, there's the 46, the car that will at some point this evening see Valentino Rossi behind the wheel.
We've had our first retirement confirmed. It was the Porsche with all the damage. They've had to retire the car. There, look, Maxime Martin comes up to get past the Iron Dames Lamborghini, and also going after him there is the Harper Verhagen Hesse BMW, another car on a mission. So the BMWs working their way forward. The 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, the three BMWs ganging up on the Porsche. Maxime Martin makes his move and goes ahead. Good pass that.
Important pass, because he made it at a part of the racetrack. Sheldon van der Linde now trying to follow through, and look, Dan Harper stick the nose of his BMW up the inside of the Porsche, but the Porsche had to take the corner, and consequently has to have to lift off. So Dan Harper loses out, but he'll have another opportunity. Chances of qualifying are not ragging their car and not dive bombing. Well, having said that, there's the McLaren doing the very thing that I just described wasn't going to happen. But it was a clean overtake, and there was an opportunity down into Fagnes to make that move, and it's been able to stick. So whether that, well, we're on board with Froggatt. This is live, and this is coming into the source. He might, oh, there's what happened. Is it? Well, I think that's the consequence. He'd already had the damage. That's what caused him to run so far wide. And then it's almost...
power their way up the hill. We'll keep an eye to number 93 McLaren. I do fear, though, that it's going to end up in the pit road at the end of this lap, and that's not good news in this first hour of the race. Another great little fight going on here. Look, we've got Charlie Fagg up to fifth at the expense of Franck Pereira, and now having a go at the Lamborghinis. Kelvin van der Linde, Audi through on the inside. Another place lost then for Pereira, and a place gained for Kelvin van der Linde, who is hustling forward. That's... Now, bear in mind, of course, that you score points in Fanatec GT at the 6 hour and the 12 hour mark, as well as at the end of the race, so they want to make sure they're in a good position, every team, at those markers. And so 88 Raffaele Marciello goes ahead now of Stephen Palette right around the outside.
Oh, did
Runs
he?
wide. He's got the job done, but it's a bit touch and go, and Palette's the one that gets elbowed out.
He certainly only lost not just one, but two positions, might lose a third. So whether that will be considered to be a clean overtake, or will expect, so watch and see. Just comes up, and just the pendulum effect just took over. Finds himself facing backwards to the final part of the chicane.
To make a move there.
No, and is that the 32 getting involved? It is, and that's with the Hex's Porsche. So I don't know why that is necessary, because that's the sort of damage that can inflict a pit stop upon you. So he turns in, and then the Porsche cuts across. So that's a misunderstanding between the two drivers. Was I right to make that move down the inside? Was I right to cut late?
Now, and taking Scherer with him, this is where all of that grunt of the Mercedes should kick in. Verviche just a little bit wider up the curb. Marcello in the wheel tracks now as they pound their way towards Les Cons. Marcello is closing, he's in the toe, is he going to be able to pull out at the last moment? Verviche stands his line. Marcello moves to the inside line and can't do it because Verviche brakes late but goes deep into the corner and Marcello does get by.
And he outbraked himself and in the process not loses one but two positions, and that was only because Fred Verviche knew that Marcello was on the inside. He had to go deep into the corner, into the pit lane.
Yeah, Michel Gassing into the pit lane. That's interesting. The Iron Dames Lamborghini, that's been dropping away, hasn't it?
Yes.
It's elevated qualifying position, but a relatively early stop. That gets the car out of the traffic.
Correct. That's a good call by Iron Dames, Iron Links that run the car, to bring that car in earlier than the mass of the field, so they'll be back on track roughly within the lap of... Oh, fire! Fire in the back of the Ferrari. The number 50 of fire broke out round that right rear corner.
So drama there, that's the Simon Mann car, and all of this ahead, of course, of the car that came in second place. So they need to get that dealt with and get it out of the way, but it's very rare that you see a fire like that, and it's still having to be attended to.
Is that a fuel spillage when the fuel bowser was attached, or more likely when it was removed? So they're still concerned. They want to get that car away from the sister car because they're...
To keep an eye on. There's number 50 Ferrari in its pit box with the fire having to be attended to. We're hearing that number 70 has had another spin as well, but this is, I think, is going to be a long stop for the Ferrari.
Well, they've taken the rear body section, they've removed it.
He has done the quickest lap of the race. Dennis stayed behind the wheel, and on new tyres, he's gone for it. 2:19.074 is away now goes number 50 Ferrari.
Blanchimont, he might have the benefit of a bit of a run up the hill, so he's looking to line himself up. Goes one way, and the Aston's trying to defend. Maro Engel goes the long way, gets alongside, goes around the outside, but has he made it out? Oh, yes, he has made it stick. The Aston might try to come back, but the concern is that Rivera directly behind, and the Ferrari will be trying to pick up the pieces. And the Ferrari should be able to benefit out of this, but the Aston is still between these two cars.
Spin in the background, coming out of the chicane, look. Car facing the wrong way, so second and third go through. That, I think, is the third spin for Lamborghini number 70. Gerhard Watzinger's third spin, two of which have been at the chicane.
Consistent, you have to say that's consistency.
Bad news, though, because that car is hemorrhaging time now. So Watzinger is about 3 laps down, gets going again, but he's been good in Super Trofeo, Gerhard Watzinger, as a quick am, but a different type of beast altogether, a GT3 car, and it's caught him out. Top
Spinner.
Drama. It's Watzinger again. Gerhard Watzinger at La Source. I think that was with a bit of help, but poor old Gerhard Watzinger has had a horrible time in this first stint. And can he drive himself out of the gravel? Yes, he can. That's the good news. Get up the hill where the tarmac is and spin turn the car around if you can to be out of everybody's way. I think there was contact.
No.
Well, there was there.
Yes.
And whoa, Maxime Martin oh so nearly.
And the bodywork came off the BMW.
Yeah.
A little bit of bodywork was caught during car going in. I knew there was something that he came out and went to the left-hand side. Couldn't see what it was, and there we are.
Places as they come over the line, and there is a change because 51 Alessio Rivera goes ahead of Janis Fitcher. That is for the on-the-road lead. So Alessio Rivera takes over the lead from Janis Fitcher, and that puts the overall class Ferrari, the overall a Silver Cup car ahead of an overall category car ahead of a bronze. And there, Marcello makes the move. The Mercedes almost level as they go into the corner, and he's got the job done and he's gained a place.
Yeah, I mean, again, all that was done from the exit of the position, but overall, watch now, down the inside into Pujol. Yes, Santner again, intelligent driving. He's done what he had to do. He's fought hard, but he knew when to concede. And knowing when to concede in an endurance race is one of the most important aspects.
To drive that car, got to Doha Airport and was told, you're not going to drive because you're not going to get to the circuit in time. So he said, well, I'll go home again. He still had a 12-hour layover in Doha. Marcello dives up the inside to put the lap on Martin Conrad. They need to keep the car in the race. They weren't going to scratch it, partly because of all the effort to get it here. But importantly, Kenny Hubble scores points in IGTC. You can't score them when he's not racing. I get that bit. But what they can do by having the car still in the race is take points away from the opposition.
Get it.
Absolutely right. So the stewards, of which there are 2 teams, busy already.
Chavez did have a sniff. He has a sniff. He goes again.
Whoa!
That yellow opened the door. And he's coming in. No, he's not. He just suddenly, I don't know if he was unsighted with the position that Chavez was in, but all of a sudden he just found himself not going forward.
Back. And Rivera sets the car up for the chicane. Fitcher there's got a bit stuck in traffic, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. He's got the Mercedes alongside. And look behind, Matteo Drudi has slipped through. And I mean, it's... Well, there is Drudi behind Fitcher, and I suspect that we're going to see an overtake before we get up or into La Source, because he's got the inside open to dive down. Fitcher just let him go. Didn't even bother defending. BMW's run wide, but he's got track position coming up the hill. And likewise, Fietman's going to try and slip through as well. Lenners Lind's not going to give it up to Maxime Martin, and it's a real traffic jam. And Lynn sort of had to get out of the throttle. But he's got that straight line squirt off the chicane, and that's going to frustrate Wittmann. And look,
Crestani, Sam Neri car, and it is. So Neri has dropped back, Linda's gained a place, Martin has gained a place, Wittmann up the inside to gain a place, and Van der Linde tries to follow him through on the corner on the inside. Couldn't quite do it.
No. I mean, it was nip and tuck coming through La Source. There's a little funny kind of little dip in the middle, which if you can hook your car into it, it gives you good performance. But if you're trying to run around the outside, but look at Sheldon van der Linde all over the back of the Lamborghini, getting the draft in the perfect position to try and make that slingshot as they come up. The Camel straight goes to the right, gradually getting alongside the Lamborghini. He's going to be in position A to take to certainly make the overtake, and Dan Harper, Frank Pereira, Lamborghini on board with Raffaele Marcello running in 10th place, well, that was set 1 point. So down the inside, can he make it stick? He has. So another position for the McLaren, and with James Conningham's going to be behind the wheel of that car. The Mercedes goes way off track. Look, watch out. Wow. Sign that guy up for England, just wicket keeper.
And let's have a look at Marcello trying to make his move on the inside. Contact with Marco Siegfried. I am coming through, says Lello, and he's done it.
A tyre has been cut down, because you can see the car. Look, that's the left rear. I was going to say, I thought it was a tyre, and there you can see the car yawing all over the racetrack, and he's going to lose further. He just can't. Look at the rear. Look how low the rear the car is.
Let's go, and he spins off the racetrack. He's come back very, very quickly. Alessio Rivera is lucky that he's been able to complete the lap at the pace he has. Sideways, as there's just no steering at all off that corner. Into the pits he comes. So
maybe 2 laps at most.
Well, big drama, and though it was some time lost. Number 20, there it is, second on the road, a 15-second penalty for a short refueling. 15 seconds to be added to the Porsche on the next pit stop. Kelvin van der Linde through on the inside line. That puts him into second place. Van der Linde into second spot now. This is the car that Dan Harper is driving, and he's chasing on in behind Sheldon van der Linde, who is also trying to get himself up through the traffic. Van der Linde goes to the outside. Comes up then to level with Gilles Magnus, and he's got the job done. Nice pass, that by Sheldon van der Linde, up into 14th spot.
Well, Kelvin van der Linde is going to be the one that's most worried, because he's got 4 cars ahead of him who are going to interfere. And Lawrence van Voort, yes, up the inside. Spin, and the Ferrari has been rotated. Is that the Samantha Tan car? Right, look. Spin, who's gone off? It's backed into Pujol. So is that car going to be, the rear wing is slightly deranged?
It's Mercedes.
It is a Mercedes. Wow, now why did that occur? Totally unexpected, and a barely
late Ferrari after the puncture, 25th as the field comes down towards La Source, and a big dive up the inside. That was Finlay Hutchison going through on the inside ahead of Valentino Rossi, or back ahead of Valentino Rossi, because they briefly traded places over the line. But Finlay Hutchison retakes 8th place under braking for them.
He's got enough pace to keep both BMWs at bay.
So down they come to La Source, and there is treble 7, Fabian Schiller. That's another car on the lead lap trying to wriggle its way back into contention.
Especially in the rain, because you're picking up soon what's happening coming down the hill. And Dries van Thor's got through, but Dries van Thor's managed to get past. Down into Pujol, that's not an easy place.
For a jump Rossi, and then he jumps ahead of the Audi of Finlay Hutchison, and now also, look there, you can see Fabian Schiller having a go on the inside of the BMW. That was very, very close to contact, if contact did not come.
I think there was light contact, but Schiller took a big punt. There you go, watch and see what happens. Brave move, Nicky team. launched it down the inside, and more importantly, managed to get the car squared up on the exit of La Source, and that was a pretty...
Mega, wasn't it? Full send. Bit of smoke here from the Lamborghini, and that's the second silver cup car. Fabrizio Crestani, second in silver with smoke. Now, is that mechanical or is that bodywork and tyre? What do we think?
A plume of blue smoke came from that Lamborghini in the left front. It's hard to tell whether it's bodywork or... I mean, it wouldn't have been a brake lockup because you don't really use the brakes that much these days coming. Oh, there's maybe a tyre problem as well.
Well, we saw a deflating tyre, didn't we, on the Ferrari of Rovera earlier on, but...
Right front.
This is on board with Valentino Rossi as he comes down to Speaker's Corner and has a right old tank slapper, and he goes off through the gravel, and that's how he lost places.
Yeah, lost 2 places, and he's lost 3 places now. 4.
Keep counting.
And, okay, well,
any more? The BMW as well. More replays of drama, and this is how Estra got second place. Dennis Marshall made a mess of the chicane, and up the inside for second place went the Porsche. A bit of a rub as he went through, but he was committed to the line.
Yeah, that was a gimme. I mean, Dennis Marshall just got it wrong, and Kevin Estra didn't need to be advantaged. No, it's not Dan Harper's Hassa.
Yeah,
Max Hassa in the rather sort of trendy. Oh, Adam Carroll. Was that a cloud, or was that just a driver error? Whatever it was, causing a scattering of cars.
Let's have another look at Adam Carroll and Valentino Rossi. Of course, they're different liveries, but they're still run by the same team of WRT, and there's a little bit of contact going through the chicane. So that was one look at it. Now, this is how Valentino saw the drama. He went to the inside, and
he was nowhere near far enough up alongside, so I'm afraid in that case it's a bit of a slam dunk that contact was caused by the 46.
What he's doing, comes over the line, but Vanthor, I think he's about to have a stand up the inside line, dives to the inside, looks for it, gets it. He's going to go through on the inside, is he? Yes, yes. Let's see, out of the corner, still side by side, and no is the answer. Porsche gets the drive off the corner, and Tim Heinemann is still ahead of Dries Vanthor.
The longer way around La Source, we've seen on previous occasions, can sometimes be the better line. Dries Vanthor would have been trying to get traction at the earliest opportunity, but the Porsche was that little bit, the shallower angle on the exit gave him the extra speed, and that's why he could consolidate his position. And Dries Vanthor is going to be, well, up this inside this time, gets it done. Yeah. So he's now secured that position. So, okay, we've got another, 21 hours and 3 minutes of this race remaining.
The inside goes 71. Antonio Fuoco jumps ahead with Porsche, and so 9-11 then of the bronze-graded Alex Malikin.
Going to win this. They've come in this going, yes, we are. Oh, there's been a big off on the exit of Les Combes.
So smoke ahead is limping down towards the Bruxelles corner. It's Fran Rueda at the wheel of it. And number 7 then has had a drama. It's the Inception car, Brendan Arib, Ollie Milroy, Fran Rueda, Frederick Schandhoff. When the BMW pit, I'm not convinced Fran Rueda is going to get to the pit lane, you know. The only reason the car is moving is because it's downhill, and this is gravity rather than power.
Yeah,
power with a Control-Alt-Delete kind of reset is there. The camera is working again. The power is there to the car. But now the McLaren has to try and get going again, so there is power, but there's not much motion. And look at this, cars everywhere. Track limits, forget it. Curves, let's use them. Scherer to the head of that pack.
This is what makes the 24 Hours of Spa one of the most relentless motor races in the world. Flotsam and jetsam all over the place, and somehow they avoid making contact. Not even a little bit of paint traded as the field squabbles its way down the hill.
That was a 280, so it was some effort. Dries Vanthor now tries to get in the draft as they come up Radillon. He's got the toe, and this is the move. Which way does he go? Pret defends the outside line. Vanthor to the inside line. The space, he's going to have to be late on the brakes, but he's got the job done even before the corner. Through he goes, Dries Vanthor.
Mr. McLaren in the middle of a fantastic train of cars, led by the...
Sorry to interrupt you. Porsche way wide. That was 9-11.
That was a bit scary.
Yeah, through the gravel. I think he's got away with that. That was Joel Sturm. It was, but the danger is it's compromised him into Pouin and brings onto his tail Jean-Baptiste Simonal. Right.
Present and tidy. Oh, we've got a spinner at La Source. That's one of the Audis that's gone around, I think.
10, I think, isn't it? The second of the Boutsen cars.
It is indeed. A big problem there. Hopefully he's kept the engine in, which he has. Get out of the way quickly. Quicker than that. Quicker than that.
He doesn't want to go forward now, does he, and get in the gravel. So now Cesar Gazzo is going to try and find reverse. And don't forget, these aren't like your road car where you've got good visibility all round. This is all a bit heart in the mouth, but the yellow flags are going to be there. Kevin Est sees them and adjusts his pace accordingly. And now Jules Gounon comes up to have a go at Louis Pret, and he needs that yellow flag to have gone in so he can have a dive to the inside line to try to get 5th place overall. Breaks late, job done.
Absolutely textbook from Jules Gounon, and he was very fortunate the yellow flag had gone in time, so that's perfectly legitimate.
188. His last lap was a 2:55. Not a fair target, really, because of the full course yellow. More fun and games into the chicane there, as 85 gets a tap in the tail from the recovering number 11 Audi, amongst others. Don't forget that 85 is the leading silver car right now. Glenn Van worked the race.
Well, I think that's been the story for a lot of competitors. Oh, BMW and strife, as that smoke as a right rear tyre has gone down on the BMW, coming up the Kemmel Straight, and that's going to limp its way round. So a right rear has gone. Whether that's again a puncture or whether the puncture may have begun, and obviously it manifested itself coming down Kemmel Straight. So that was maybe a bit of a shock for Adam Carroll, but he kept the car on the straight and narrow and got it around the first part of the circuit. But he's got the best part of maybe 4.5 or 5 kilometres to bring the car back. So it's going to, oh dear me, well, this is getting really messy coming down into Poohon. And that is the BMW. Currently, where is that line? I think you are. You've got, oh.
I love it on an onboard. I mean, when you get the slingshot like that, every racing driver wants that slingshot, don't they? That was beautifully timed from Hess. There was absolutely nothing that Pret could do about it. He knew he was on the ropes there, and Hess just had him lined up beautifully. Pret was covering the middle of the road, and Hess just relented on the throttle for about a car length, then waited, boom, in the La Source hairpin. He got the full chat on the throttle. Beautiful. Of De Jong, Hesmans, Legeray and Hutchison. This is a replay. Whoops-a-daisy. That's a little bit of paint traded.
Yeah, that was more careless than anything else. There wasn't anything in. Watch again. Now, here we go.
There it goes. Under brakes, boom. There it goes. And it's definitely off the Scherer Audi. Oh, dear, oh, dear.
Official nighttime racing, as John mentioned a while ago. It feels a little bit darker, and it feels much closer for the lead in the traffic, does it, as Angela gets up the curb? Which way to go? Does he try and get past the Ferrari? Does he try to defend from the Porsche? He needs to do both. Andlauer goes to the outside, goes to the inside. He's being held up by Angela. Angela's being held up by all and sundry.
And that was a tough moment for the right. If Andlauer could find a way around the Audi, he would be able to stretch that advantage.
A dive to the inside. Is that going to unsettle the Audi? Yes, it is! Porsche up the inside. He's done it at last. Julian Andlauer goes through. Fantastic. Proper racing. And now let's see how much he can extend that advantage by.
We watch and see. Here we go. Oh, whoa. Oh, dear me. Look. And who was behind him? Wow. That could have been another monumental incident down at... it looks very hazy there. Whether that's smoke from an oil smoke, or whether it's something else, but just everything looks very hazy.
I've got a horrible feeling it might have hit something, be it gravel or something solid. I thought there was some damage on the right front, but he's got it going again. So that's the good news. So benefiting from the Audi hampering the Lamborghini. If Highties can clear it, well, it might be a different story. And he's going to do it now up the inside line. It's only a back marker in quotes, but he's got to do it to hang on to his class advantage.
Yeah, and the Audi had to make a sort of adjustment to
get past the number 10. Boots and VDS Audi that had a spin, did it not, earlier on in the race, and up towards Les Combes they come. Delinquenti can't do it, so well, he tries, he's alongside almost, but no, can't make the move. So now you can see Benjamin Highties is building the gap back up again. Now Delinquenti goes through, and it's game on for the silver lead, but you can see the margin he's got to make up.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the gap between the two will suddenly, it'll close back down to where it was prior to coming up to those back markers.
Julian Andlauer.
Oh,
a
track limits.
30-second penalty for track limits. I did say you got up to 6, and a penalty now comes. So there's a 30-second penalty for the leading car for track limit offences. Now, it's not all down to Julian. You gain them as a car, so might be that Laurens Vanthoor and Kevin Est have had a hand in that. But the leading car on its next pit stop will lose half a minute.
And the Audi coming up. Oh, look at that. Verhagen and Feller.
That's brave, isn't it, through the traffic, and Ricardo Feller goes round the outside, and there's a car on a very strange line with a problem, I think, in the middle of Eau Rouge there, one of the Audis, slow and offline, and with cars coming at it from every direction. That Patrick Niederhauser's car gets squeezed onto the grass on the outside, brings the dirt back onto the racetrack. know whether the car has a big problem or whether he'd had a moment or quite what, but either way, that was sort of a bit wayward for a moment.
I think the Sun Energy Mercedes might have been in the middle of that group as well. There was two cars, one was Audi, one was Mercedes, and they seemed to just be overwhelmed by the fact that there was cars.
And Neil Verhagen, this was the move coming out of La Source. Now look, cars slowed.
Don't understand that.
Well, it's almost like a full course yellow had been called for, wasn't it? Because they all slowed. And then Gounon thinks, well, there's no yellow flag, I'm going for it. And Verhagen gets in the way of the Audi. I think that was what caught everybody out. It was as though there'd been a phantom full course yellow.
A false yellow or whatever it was. I mean, everybody has got information on the cars. You can see, watch all this. There, so it's got green, that means it's a green flag track. So Jules Gounon on it like a rash. Now he comes down into Lucas, has to take avoiding action, almost ran into the back. So we've got a Porsche directly ahead, and I'd love to know what actually led those drivers to believe they're having to slow down.
So into the chicane, side by side at Lecombe, Feller round the outside of the Verhagen. That's brave, and it works as well. The Audi round the outside of the BMW. Ricardo Feller, John made the point earlier on, he's an exceptional GT racer. More evidence of it, that was quite a move, is the answer. 66 has had a rotation, gets back into the right direction now, but the bronze Audi has a spin, gets going now.
Yeah, that was it.
Up with traffic as well. Does this give Wirtz a chance as he comes up to have a go? Engschler almost leans on the Porsche there, and this possibly gives Wirtz a good chance. He goes to the outside line, down to Bruxelles. The Audi momentarily delayed. Wirtz turns in as he got his nose in front of the Audi. Round the hairpin at Bruxelles. He comes out, still alongside, but now he's done it on the inside. Charles Wirtz goes second on the road. And when we get to the 6-hour mark, that BMW should be in the lead of the race and therefore take the points.
Make a move down the inside if he doesn't get blocked. And he has made the move and there's contact, but he's made it through. So Nick Yellerly used the additional grip that he has from his fresh-ish set of Pirelli tyres. And
that's how it looked on board. He comes up to Bruxelles and pounces.
Yeah, I mean, that was all worked, as I mentioned, coming up through Rouge. We had very deep, actually, into Bruxelles, and maybe Lucas... I thought maybe there may be a way of coming back, but the reality...
All the track limit dramas have been reset. Everyone starts on 0. Whoops, this is what happened to number 10 Audi down at La Source. Oof, it was quite a moment, wasn't it?
Fourth position. And I mean, I don't know how many cars are ahead of them in the class. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good, 8 cars ahead of that. That's not good to see.
No.
Going in, so the front wheels never got put back on. So are they suffering from...
It's, very much... moving the Bathurst 12 hours up in its terms of overall global awareness. Into the barriers, the number 83, turn 17 for number lovers. That is the exit of Blanchimont.
Nowhere scary at all.
No. So that car is off
It's
very
Dorian
firmly.
Pan. It's the Iron Dames Lamborghini. Not that she's only just taken that over, really.
Yeah.
We saw it in the pits just before we came.
The pit lane. There is Dorian Pan. There is the Lamborghini. There are lights on, and she's got all the front lights. She's trying to get the car fired up. You can see the marshal there. Okay. At some stage, the marshals will be told by race control, okay, it won't start. You need to tow around to there because the 270 k's flat out up the hill here.
Right, the Van der Lindes have really made good their escape. Kelvin ahead of Sheldon because Timo Bogoslawski is third in that queue, but about to be passed with the big challenge from the number 63 Lamborghini. And of course, where's that in the overall wrecking? Way down. It was 51st last time I checked.
It doesn't heat its tyres very quickly. Somebody in trouble.
It's Mercedes pulling off at the side of the circuit, trying to work out which
number
number two. So it's the get speed car. It's Andre Lewandowski, fallen to 57th position, limping home, but doing a great job. He's got a deflated.
Probably come off the safety car and felt a vibration and just thought, okay, the temperature's gone out of the tyres. It's fine. It's not a deal. It's not a problem. That's not him. That's the number 10 Boots and VDS car. So that's an Audi with a left front puncture.
Do you think they combined?
2 into 1. Oh, so the Mercedes got clobbered as the Audi cut the inside of the corner, bounced off the curbs into the Mercedes. So that was an...
A trio of cars coming down the hill, and the car right in behind him, looking one way, looking the other. The Ulsterman, Dan Harper, in that 998 BMW in 4th place, but for how much longer? He's got the run coming up the hill, out of rally he goes. He can only see part of the rear of the car because he's so close, and he's got a car right behind him, blinding, dazzling him, and that's who's doing that? It's Lawrence Van Toor.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about the Van der Linde brothers, and of course the Van Toors are. So real pressure on Chavez. Whoa, here's the Porsche.
That's Earl Bamber, so he's a driver, Le Mans winner down there, down in 43rd, 44th position, 44th for car number 23.
And in fact,
that's the Grove family Porsche. He's helping to run, but yeah, he's not, doesn't want to get out of the way, but he's trying not to interrupt this battle. In fact, the best way is to overtake the car in front and pull away. That's what Earl is trying to do. They keep going around the outside on that sort of right-hand kink as they go past the endurance. He's got ahead of Matthias Drudy. Now he's chopped him, so the progress for Drudy will be abated. And coming up, this is the chance now for Chavez to get onto his rear. He'll get a double toe up the hill. Doubly leading the race. That's car number 32, but just showing why he's definitely one of the up-and-coming stars in GT3 racing. Dan Harper making that move. Neat, tidy.
They're run by the same team, but you have to treat them as totally different entities, and if one is quicker, you must allow it to go past. You must.
You're not just racing against your teammate. It could gain, as you say, 2 or 3 seconds, and at the end of the race, it can be that close in a 24-hour race. Yep. So up into 3rd place, Dan Harper. He's now just half a second clear of teammate Marco Wittmann. But what are they trying to do? Catching both of them for a couple of laps of being the driver in 5th place, Kelvin van der Linde. That is why. So Dan Harper up into 3rd place, teammate Marco Wittmann. More experience, just as much pace, but at this point in the race, Dan Harper is faster. Wise move. And that is jinking past them.
So this is into Les Combes.
There's the Vincenzo Sospiri Racing car, VSR on the rear wing, right up in front. Now what happens next? Side by side, and round it rotates, and there is nowhere to go for the number 4 at all. Very bad luck for the CrowdStrike Racing by Riley entry there. But if you get caught in the gravel, well, look, there is nowhere to go with the Lamborghini spinning in front of the 3rd car came through. That was the ST Racing car as well.
So who would...
Okay, they're there now, and you can be sure the pedal is right to the metal on the throttle. And oh, what a great response from Kevin Estre. He's got this bang on, but it's a short run up to La Source.
Didn't you see the way that Estre swung out really wide to the right-hand side to square it off, to V off the corner and try and give himself the longest run down to La Source? Even an extra yard makes a difference, and through he goes, straight through into the lead. Well, that was over and done and dusted to the offline areas. I mean, look at it.
So the Rutronik Porsche goes through. Yeah, Dennis Marshall, that was a massive save, and he's right in front of
the things that going to safety car and then staggering all the field so that all the quick guys are at the front. It does have that advantage that it allows the pro battle up front. I mean, look on the right-hand column there of your timing bar. All those white background numbers are pro cars. It's only Thomas Laurent in the gold class Audi, and 188, the bronze class McLaren that are in the top 20 basically. Everything else is a pro category car. And the ones that aren't have had...
Number 81 Mercedes, so who spun first? It's, well, wait for it. Is that, well, the Lamborghini spinning. How did the Mercedes end up on the other side of the track? Here it is, coming backwards. No, there's the Lamborghini sitting sideways. And the Thieber car, it caught the tail. So the Mercedes that caused the incident got away scot-free around the outside of the gravel trap. And really, unfortunately for Yannick Mettler, it was about the 10th car pass, but unfortunately the tail of the Lamborghini was in the track. It was then rotated through 180 degrees. There you can see the hit from the bottom of the hill. Great direction there to pick up all of that, and neither party was the guilt of that one little problem, and it's cost them so much. But right now they can run with the front runners.
Oh! Come back, baby.
Well, I think that was the number 17 Audi. I think that was Nicky Team. No, hold on, he was back in the line.
70
Lamborghini, the Light Motorsport car.
And also, and this may come as less of a surprise as well, 159, the Garage 59 McLaren is an official retirement. So we saw Nick Kiergaard brought the car in, and there was a shattered brake bell and what remained of an enormous disc on the floor, and it looks like it was not just a broken brake.
Yes, one does feel that it took 2 to tango in that circumstance. We'll get full official confirmation as what entirely is broken. We'll feel suspension is part of that mixture.
Battle for second, PRT on the left of your picture, Thomas Preining.
that's
the 20.
Niederhauser coming through to try and unlap himself. He's now got to catch up with the race leader.
Yeah, the VSR car. So...
Oh, not Ricky Cappo, sorry, 60.
Max Pavarud brought it in. So Vincenzo Sospiri's team with an overheating issue on that car, and that's this lap.
I've been in the pits that long, only 4.5 minutes.
No, 3 laps till Nico Varoni gets a spot back. Yeah, it's only been in recently, but overheating may not be a quick fix.
Sorry, 4.5 minutes into its stint, so rather than the pit stop time. No, it was a pit stop time, it's still running up, so it's still in the pits now.
Down into an exiting Campus and loops it around on the exit, carried on a tiny bit of extra speed. Here we go on board. It wasn't the speed, it was too much curb on the inside. This is Piff Puff, so this is exit now, Piff Puff, and you're coming down the hill into Campus. No, it was. Changed his mind midway round, and I'm afraid that's always going to be the case. He was worried he was going out too wide.
Using the gold class last year, but it's a maximum of a platinum-ranked driver, so super high, 2 silvers and a bronze. So you can understand one driver is much quicker than the other, and that clearly is Mattia Caroli. And we've got probably
on the
2
Kemmel
cars
straight.
involved.
That is halfway up the Kemmel straight, and coming through the shot there with the pink. Him off to the right-hand side.
They were running 5th and 6th at the time, covered by 0.3 of a second on the start-finish line. This is on board with Charles Weerts, car 32. Well, he's been given a thump up the rear, so he's completely innocent in all of that. But then that horrific moment, you're sitting facing sideways on, and then fortunately for him going off the side of the track, so out of the way of all the other cars behind.
That wasn't Verhagen going side to side, that was Weerts.
That was Weerts.
Got turned around.
Yeah, Weerts went to the right and then across to the left.
Spat across.
So line in that order with 10 seconds between them, and 3rd place would go to the 88 Mercedes. That is the one we've just been discussing with Timo Boga-Sliski. He's back in 14th position, but there was those 2 Porsches that were out of kilter. They're not out of kilter now. They've readjusted in the last. Front end of the field.
Look at Sam de Haan, 7th place. Not everything is about outright lap time. That car is in 7th. Never mind the fact that it's leading its own class, the gold class. It's in the top 10 overall. And yet the best lap that car has turned is a 2-minute 19.0. So its fastest lap of the entire race is a tick under 2 seconds slower than the fastest car in the entire race. And currently, well, last time round, de Haan did a 2:26. It's how you make your speed, and they're clearly good in the technical element, which is sector 2. That's where that speed trap is. Now, if we see a speed trap here as they get onto the brakes at the bus stop, or up the hill through Blanchimont, or up the hill into Les Combes, you'll probably find that the Ferrari is further back down on the speed trap. It doesn't have the top speed, but it's got the mid-corner speed, if you like, to get any kind of parity between the cars. Astonishing that it ever happens, never mind that it happens so frequently and so well.
And just proving your point, we've got a Porsche attacking a Mercedes, and Maro Engel just hanging on in front of Dennis Olsen, the Rutronik Porsche, pushing and probing as they came up to Blanchimont. But then again, the Mercedes had a little bit more balance and poise through Blanchimont, and then using the curbs, every trick in the book. The Norwegian driver Dennis Olsen chasing very, very hard indeed. He tries to get alongside. He's got a better exit. He is side by side. If this was the last lap of the race, it would be pure gold. But you'd be sure that Maro Engel will protect the inside. His nose is actually not in front, but then Dennis Olsen comes off to try and do what quite a lot of drivers do. You go in fast and deep, I'll try and undercut you. He's made it work. The Porsche has done so well. Not just his Porsche, but the EMA one as well, up at La Source. So a little bit asunder, maybe, just about, no, maybe not. No, it's not. It's just the angle the car is being dragged. It makes the wheel arch look a little bigger, and a flatbed is coming down. Beautiful line into the corner there, and presumably that will be used to take that away. But it's very difficult when tracking a car through gravel. He could be about to put it under the truck.
I'm rather... Oh!
I wish I hadn't said that. Very, very close indeed. As suddenly just one wheel bit on the curbing on the edge of the track, found some traction, and it swung.
Should he not? And behind him, Franck Pereira, Dennis Olsen, Marco Wittmann, Kelvin van der Linde, Laurens van Toor, Jules Coulon, Christopher Haase, Danny Junkerdea, Maxime Martin, Tom Gamble, and who's facing the wrong way round?
It's Maxi Götz, the 87 car. Yikes. That had been going particularly well in the hands of Lorenzo Ferrari. Maxi takes it, and then the more contact, and it's going to be Matteo Drudi into the lead of the race. Surely the Audi will get past. Oh, unfortunate there for Christian Engelhardt. Left half a gap, well, caught in there. Got tight formation. Drudi is about 5 seconds clear. Here comes second, third, fourth, and fifth. I was about to say Blanchimont, the corner they've just gone through is where so many drivers are getting pinged for track limits. Up the inside, takes a look, Kelvin van der Linde, and equally Franck Pereira only just holding off Dennis Olsen behind. Olsen in turn has still got the Chaz Mostert enjoying it. He's running down in 35th position. He's leading Pro-Am. He's not in this battle at all, but look at that lurid orange-nosed Mercedes. He's having a fantastic time with European racing. It's his second running.
On board with the 93.
That's Jeffrey Schmidt running the Sky Tempesta Racing McLaren, getting very, very close to the 188, another McLaren as well. And that's the one that's been doing so well through the course of this race.
Oh, dives down the inside. Yeah, that's the 188, the bronze class leader, as was.
And that's tumbled.
A gap over a dozen equal machines. Now, understood, back at any track. Is that the cars, the balance of performance between the cars gives them the same potential at this track, at any track. In which case, why, in 3 laps, is Matteo Drudi 7.5 seconds clear? That's insane. Down to 43rd out of 53 running cars.
Yeah, whatever time the field gets bunched up side by side from Pereira. This is the replay, and around the outside into Les Combes goes Dennis Olsen. So just as Franck Pereira in the black and green K-Pax Racing Lamborghini was attacking Lucas Stoltz for 3rd position, he's gone. Right, which of these cars in the replay has got a moment in this Lamborghini going around? Will it hit the pit wall or the wall at the top of the pit lane? No, it didn't somehow. That's the Vincenzo Sospiri race.
The wheel of the 96 Porsche. He has left the pit lane. So van der Linde, 64 minutes and 12 seconds. I mean, that's a lot of fat left on that motor. Not enough for another lap, obviously, but worked well. So Kelvin van der Linde in the lead Audi.
Marco Wittmann has just shuffled out when they served their pit stop. But this racing, look at Marco Mappelli, the number 6 Lamborghini, absolutely hanging it out. And right behind he's got Kevin Estre, Jules Coulon, and how much curb would you like to use? Well, all of it, please, on both sides of the track.
Dear, oh dear, that was very random from Marco Mappelli. And as a result, here comes Gounon, and behind Gounon in the
Christopher Haase.
Christopher Haase in the
and he's been pushed a little bit wide. It was the contact. He certainly maybe had to avoid some.
Yeah.
So all his momentum's been lost, and then suddenly was that Chaz Mostert.
Chaz Mostert, or was Chaz Mostert? It's now.
Yes, it's still Chaz straight. Last time around, and the driver who lost out was the driver who was trying to get in on the mix. It was Christopher Haase. David Addison has just come into the back of the commentary box. He has no idea that you jinxed the race for just over 2 hours overnight. He does have an idea. He's looking very happy indeed. He's done it again.
Race leader into the pit lane, Eddie Cheever III.
Like Martin Haven and Bruce Jones have done, as ever, an excellent job, and they're getting better at it. I mean, only 2 hours of full course yellow. Normally it's 8 or 9 that they manage to generate. So over the years, they're getting the hang of what to do on the night watch, aren't they? Guys, well done. Thank you so much. Welcome back, everybody. Morning. It is the CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa. 8 hours, 21 minutes to go, and Denis Marchal is the leader. He's coming up towards you at La Source in Audi number 40 that he has recently taken over, wriggling up the inside line in the traffic there. Nicholas Bart to get a lap back, which is going to be crucial because Nicholas Bart has now put himself back onto the lead lap. It was 1,000th quicker than the last lap of the leader. A bit of strife there coming into the chicane as round the outside Antonio Fuoco rubs with Christopher Haase, but it worked. It gave him 9th place. So the Ferrari, with an interesting use of the curb of the chicane, gains the place, and does Christopher Haase get it back going down to La Source. If I were Fuoco, I'd give him that place back.
In terms of reputation, but it's been a very tricky one. I was actually watching them on the restart earlier on, about an hour ago, and it was almost as if they're still sort of on the back foot. There maybe isn't quite the confidence under the brakes in this particular Audi that there was, but up the inside, getting through past the Grasser Lamborghini, that's obviously going to be a nice feather in the cap. Up to 22nd then goes that Audi of Christopher Mies.
Close. Is there going to be a dive at the inside? Yes, there is. He pulls out. He has a look. Dennis Marshall has had an error at the chicane in the pass, and he goes in deep, and Nicky Tim is crawling all over the back of him then. Now he tries to get a better run out of the corner. He's almost level as they cross the stripe. On the inside line, Dennis Marshall. On the outside line, he's Nicky Tim. That is the end of lap 341, and a new race leader. Through goes Nicky Tim then. He was 5,000ths back at the line. He's ahead at turn 1. Change for the lead. Audi number 17 is back.
Especially considering that it's happened halfway round the circuit as well, because not only have you got to nurse the car home without making sure you don't damage the car any further, as a big chunk of rubber just departs at the wrong moment there. It shreds its carcass and lands in the gravel trap. But that's what they're hoping. They're hoping that there's more damage to the rear than they were hoping.
They can get maybe a lap back, but it's a big ask because they're almost into the back of the Mercedes. Heads Felipe Fraga. A little bit of zealotry there creeping in as he brakes a little bit too. Well, let's have another look, because he came from a long way back down towards the chicane, and it was traffic that went against Estra. Made a mistake. Estra made a mistake.
He did, and he also cut the...
Jonathan Hui, the Hong Kong-based driver behind the wheel, as there, side by side for third, down to Lassource. Porsche on Porsche. 92 is Estra. Heinrich is in 96. They're going to go toe-to-toe down the hill. There are back markers ahead. Kevin Estra's car needs to grow in width, but Laurin Heinrich gets up alongside him as they dive down the hill, and through he goes. Laurin Heinrich gets one over on Kevin Estra. You don't say that very often.
And I'll say it again. You don't say that very often. Oh, it is there. It is the Mercedes, and it's pulled off just on the entry into Eau Rouge, so it's not on the racetrack, first of all, but it's in an area which is difficult to get.
Heinrich is quicker. Now here, bit of smoke out of the back of that Mercedes.
Yeah, there's smoke coming from the back of the car, so
he parks it.
Yeah, but why did he not park it up against the barrier? Why did he?
Heading into the pit lane, and here comes Eng up the inside, but Ancient Guven is a very, very accomplished Porsche racer. Absolutely excellent he was in Super Cup, but now to the inside goes Eng, another former Porsche champion. Toe-to-toe they go. BMW booms past.
Yeah, and that's all down to the fresh set of tyres on the BMW. Much, much more grip as he turned into.
The Porsches having their fight look. Preining on his way to pit out, and they're coming out of Eau Rouge in the green Porsche in the background. Julian Andlau, it's going to be close here, but Preining stays ahead. Andlau's got to take the fight to him as the leader is in the pits.
The gap, in fact, look at the 92, has actually got all the momentum coming up, so that's going to be a pass, simply just because the 92 had made that stop one lap earlier and cleared the Ferrari that he was running behind. So wait and see when they come across start-finish line as we look at the battle of the Porsche. And Thomas Preining, again, looking all over, coming up side by side, coming up into the chicane. And the 92 just about, yes, just managed to keep the 96 at.
Down into La Source at the end of the lap. They'd only got half a second within.
And they've probably outbraked himself, that's all I can think. Yes, opened the door, just outbraked himself. Enslinger just too late in the brakes, couldn't slow down. But look, he comes back. I know it looked like the BMW had taken the lead, but in fact, going down the hill into Eau Rouge, the Audi is to the left, and well, wow, that means. Look, here we go. Here's the head-on view coming up into La Source. Watch the braking of the Audi. Just doesn't really slow down sufficiently. Runs too wide. BMW up the inside, but actually on the exit, the Audi's got good drive off, so they're running.
Endurance pit lane. Let's have a replay. This is the 44 Porsche.
I think that was Fred Makovicky. I don't know if they made a change since the last time we saw it.
Yeah.
And so it is Makovicky, yes. Freddie, good old Freddie.
Was there a gap there, or did he just create one?
Well, no, but every time Freddie smiles, there's a gap. And he is more speed than the car that's leading the race. But they're so evenly matched coming up the hill into Blanchimont. Forget about trying to make a move up the outside or the inside. And his best chance will come when they come up to the braking zone. But it's easy. Oh, and again runs wide. Well, that'll be noted. But there he is, side by side. He's taken the lead. Whether that... Oh, no, he hasn't taken the lead.
Not yet,
yes,
he hasn't. Oh, not yet,
no,
he hasn't.
Yes, he has.
Oh, he got there in the end.
But he ran very wide. And that'll go down as a track limit abuse.
It certainly will. I mean, that is advantage by track limits, isn't it? There's no question about it, because he'll be able to get through on Exler. But Riccardo Fella absolutely determined to get into the lead before he made his pit stop. It's run at the Rowe BMW in behind the Ferrari. Trying to make the bid there up towards Blanchimont. Plenty of speed and pace for the Rowe.
Again, fresh rubber coming out of Paul Francoeur.
Yep, Mukavos, Gabietti, Hudspeth and Pereira. So unfortunately they're going to have a penalty. Here comes the Rowe BMW in the slipstream. This is where you can really gain the time. Up to the inside line, no problems at all to have a look. But are you going to be brave enough to dive on the inside? Of course you are. It's Nick Yellowly.
Well, not only that, he'd gotten himself into the position where the Audi was not going to be able to come across. And again, that's just using your, I think, well, again, another discovery.
I'd go along with that completely. So, our 8th, and through the traffic swoops the Mercedes AMG there. Look to the outside line. Gilles Magnus has brought 11 back into the mix. Augusto Farfus hovering, if you like, on the fringes of the top 10, and Dean McDonald is next in the queue as now to the inside line. Gilles Magnus lines up to have a go, and he's done it past Lucas Sauer on the inside. That gives him 8th, and Farfus is right there as well. The McLaren got the wall for 2nd in silver, and Hezemans has now spent at least one full lap staring at the back of the Mercedes. Now he gets a tow, now he gets the run on the inside, and he's going to get the job done. He wants that back marker, though, to stay between him and the Lamborghini as a buffer, and it does happen. Going into Les Combes, that buys Hezemans a little bit of breathing space.
Yes, and it took him a few laps to work it out. Mercedes up the inside, contact, and, well, no damage done, but that was opportunistic to stick your car up the inside when there was a closing gap, and again, the Audi following.
We might start to get, in an hour or so, are people staying in the car and therefore driving down the pit lane to reset the stint time.
Well, the 51 Ferrari and the 17 Audi have contact, and that was something Kevin van der Linde hadn't anticipated. So here he goes down now, and the Ferrari not making it easier. Oh, wow. Now that I don't like to see weaving like that coming down the hill.
And that's a lapped car.
Yeah.
51 isn't on the same lap.
Absolutely. But I mean, it suddenly popped up and managed to find its way around Kelvin van der Linde.
Robert Schwartzman is in 40th place. They come. This is the race leader in the traffic, so there's no hesitation in all of this. There's no hanging about. I am coming through, says Nick Yellowly.
Yeah.
Now let's have a look at number 99. This is the Silver Cup Audi, having drama down at the bus stop. It's all locked up. Now, is that a puncture causing that to tip over on one side, or has it had a breakage? The car spins. It's a puncture, all right. There's the tyre off the rim. And in super slow-mo, that is very dramatic indeed, isn't it? So 99, that was well up in silver, not for much longer.
I don't think that's just a puncture. I think that's actually broken the wheel rim as well.
Might well have done, yeah.
So that could be potentially race ending, because that's a lot of damage on the left rear.
Yes, the wheel's at a jaunty angle, isn't it? I think you're right, broken suspension, and the car has been in...
Our Mercedes hold on from Augusto Farfus. Lucas Sauer, who of course not that many years ago was testing a Force India Grand Prix car. They're going to catch the Grove Porsche at exactly the wrong moment for the Almanar Mercedes. Can the BMW out-drag it and sprint to the braking zone and come around the outside of the chicane? Farfus goes for it, absolutely perfect, but watch for Gilles Magnus. Magnus is going to get past the Almanar Mercedes as well and might just get the throttle application to get past the WRT BMW in the same breath. Hanging on the inside, wait for it in the braking zone. Is that going to be enough for Farfus to hang on? Here comes the Rowe BMW to lap them all. Please don't hit us.
Yellowly needing to be oh so careful here. He double Bathurst 1000 winner at the wheel. Drama for the WRT BMW then that has stopped on track. Is that 30 or 31? It's 31 of Bailey Voisin.
That's on the Code Paul Frere, isn't it?
Code Paul Frere, and with yellow flags out.
This is exactly what Marco Wittmann needed from the Rowe BMW squad. These two battling, because if the Scherer Audi continues to hold up the Trezor orange Audi that goes right off onto the gravel there on the exit of Les Combes, if they keep holding each other up, it just gives him... Beat him. Here we go, and there is Marcello at full pelt going up towards Irouge through Radillon with Nicky Thiem, the man on the scene. This is going to be exciting as there goes Marcello. Out comes Nicky Thiem right in front of him, but Marcello is already on the gas. So surely the Akkodis Mercedes is just going to sweep past, no issues at all. Marcello gets in front. That's critical.
Absolutely key for his time lost. So Lucas Stoltz, who is the race leader, is not obliged to do anything. But the reality is the BMW will be the race leader, and once it gets through, comes through the exit of Paul Francoeur, Now, can he get up alongside the Mercedes as he is achieving? Yes, he does. So that was all done.
Oh, wow.
That's the new tyre factor that the BMW is enjoying. Out of pole for a curb, quicker than the Mercedes.
In FIA Formula 3 when the car launched, but this is rather less dramatic. Spectacular, but less dramatic than that.
Just looks to me to be totally self-induced. Oh, and a difficult part of it, just sitting sideways onto traffic. Absolutely. Well, here we go. Reverend Kevin at his best, up the inside.
Oof.
Oh, dear me. And now, who was in that car? Didn't quite get the number. Will that be, that was a non-pro car that Kevin had contact with?
Yes, that was Dylan Pereira in number 66. That's a bronze car. Dylan Pereira, last year's Porsche Super Cup champion.
Will that be a penalty? Because clearly, there was contact. We're going to see real racing from these top 6 cars to the checkered flag.
Big dive up the inside there. Number 17 Audi in 3rd place. Nicky Team, he has got to be remorseless during the traffic here because he's got to catch that Mercedes that's got stuck. Jules Gounon has got 1, 2, 3 back markers to clear, and the Audi is bearing down on him.
Yeah, I can't wait for that checkered flag.
Good, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing them.
Thank you.
There, again, into its garage, Philip Ellis's Winward Racing Mercedes. That car's been in the barriers, it's been in all sorts of strife over the course of the race. And I'm afraid to say, that comes out of the piff-paff. And here, drama, Laurin Heinrich and Klaus Bachler. And Bachler, bronze leader, has to go up the escape road. There just wasn't room for him. So slaloms his way back onto the circuit.
Porsche is running behind.
You can see in the background as well, the Kevin Estre Porsche, the team confirming there was contact with another car that did for the diffuser.
Yep. That's
right, there goes the Audi. Accelerates away.
But there we are. There's the Mercedes.
Yeah. So this is for 2nd place. The Audi is ahead, but it's not yet up to speed. It will come out of the pit lane now, and it's going to lose the position. Gounon goes back ahead there. The Mercedes clears the Audi once more.
And also the Audi loses out to the Porsche as it exits from the pit lane.
We'll have a look at the order, work out who's fighting whom. And there's a good little fight coming out of the chicane there. You can see at the bottom of the picture, which I think is Gounon and team. It is absolutely together, nose to tail now. Jules Gounon covers off a dive from Nicky Team going into La Source. They were held up in traffic, but this is Nicky Team's best chance yet of getting 2nd place with just 43 minutes to go.
Very, very good professional driving.
Florian Scholzer, Kenneth Heyer, Patrick Assenheimer and Alex Peroni have had a 110-second time penalty added to the end because of track limits.
Wow, 110-second penalty. Rather take 6 of the best for that, instead of that.
Well, we've been saying all race, every time you hit 6, the penalty becomes more severe. Well, that's stewards losing rag type severe, isn't it?
Because Sports Porsche, and should do it on the drop down into Brussels. There he goes out to the right, gets alongside. Oh!
Porsche claims the line. Christopher Hauser denied.
I think Christopher Hauser might feel a little bit aggrieved by that. I think he thought I was getting the corner. Three of them come on, Kevin.
That's for position, because up the inside, Estre gets ahead of Tim and he runs wide and he's in the gravel and he's off the road and Nicky Tim goes back through. Kevin Estre, 1 up and 1 back. That was for 3rd place. It worked briefly. He was only a 1/10 of a second faster, but as they come to the corner at which he went off the road a lap ago, this time it's Nicky Tim that goes wide, and that's going to bring Estre nearer to him.
And Nicky Tim did it all on his own. There was no assistance. That was just an error.
So Eng leads overall, 2nd overall is Gounon, and 3rd overall is Nicky Team. There he is. That could yet change before the very end of the race, as the Audi is being caught now by the Porsche again. Kevin Estre still throwing everything at this as he bounces over the curb. BMW, checkered flag at the ready. The crowd strike, 24 hours of Spa won by Rowe Racing BMW for Nick Yellerly, Marco Wittmann and Philip Eng across the line. They win at the end of the 2023 edition of the race. The checkered flag is waved. The BMW team celebrates 537 laps done in 24 hours, 1 minute and 15 seconds.
And you had a 2-hour full course yellow safety car intervention in the middle of the night, and well, What a fantastic achievement.
Silver winner up to the line. Clemens Schmidt comes through now in the Grasser Racing Team Lamborghini, and we look to the background waiting for other class winners. We've got the gold winner, I think, already up to the line, Dean McDonald. There the celebrations are at Rowe. Across the line with the flash of the headlights, there goes the Laurin Heinrich. Now Thomas Preining Porsche for 5th. Here's the bronze winner then, number 20 Porsche. Matteo Cairoli is going to bring it home, heads towards the timing line then. So he comes out of the chicane, up towards the line, sideways to celebrate, and Matteo Cairoli wins bronze for the Huber Motorsport team. This is gold winner. This is the number 5 McLaren. Dean McDonald is going to bring it home then. So the Optimum Motorsport McLaren up towards the line. All the survivors busy flashing their lights. And Dean McDonald in the McLaren 10th overall. A mighty effort. And we've done silver, we've done bronze, we've done gold. I think this is the only other class we need to see home, because up towards the line now comes 75 Nick Katzberg. Also to mention that Philip Eng wins IGTC as well, the Intercontinental GT Challenge element of the race. Nick Katzberg brings the Sun Energy One Racing Mercedes across the line. What a story for that team, and we've got a Porsche doing bizarre things ahead of it. That was the Grove family Porsche that did a stoppie to celebrate, nearly caught out everybody behind. Philip Eng, Marco Wittmann and Nick Yellerly, winners for Rowe Racing of the 2023 CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa. For Hans-Peter Naundorf's team, it is success. They've won Nürburgring, they've won Spa before for Porsche, now for BMW. And for a team here, winning that, putting one over on WRT, that is quite an important achievement. And so they will now be the national anthem of the winning team. So congratulations then to the winning drivers, Philip Eng, Marco Wittmann, Nick Yellerly, victorious. And John, just to go back to that point, the top BMW team, many people still regard as WRT, but to beat WRT on their turf, that's going to really, really be a good feeling. Rather German in terms of the manufacturers at the top.
I hadn't noticed myself. Say that again. BMW, Mercedes, Audi, and
Porsche.
Well, there you go. Maybe that's a bit of an inspiration for other manufacturers to think we want to take on the challenge of the German might and show what our engineering is capable of.
The celebrations are underway.